Hello, welcome to the Fed Up Podcast. This is episode 5, and we have our first ever guest episode. We have the regular crew. But first, before I introduce them, I'd like to introduce our guest. Some people call him Mr. Some people call him Dave. Some people call him Dad. Some people call him Son. Fewer people call him Grandson. Fewer people call him Great-Grandson. And almost no people call him Great-Great-Grandson. It's David Pilkington.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. It is a pleasure to be here.
That's great to hear. Are you sure your mic is on?
Am I coming in clear? My mic is on.
I believe it is. So, I must say, welcome to the Fed Up Podcast, episode 5. I will be passing the mic around the left to introduce the rest of the Fed Up crew. Starting on my left.
I'm a woman respecter 432.
Davy Jones. T-Money.
Davy Pilkington 96240.
Creeper XD 69.
And I am always the square root of Dad Squared, also known as Starscream, also known as Rap is Crap 1955. Today we'll be talking about what Mr. Pilkington is fed up with. So, Mr. David.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you consider yourself an underdog as someone named David?
Because my name's David,
Yes.
so I'm an underdog.
Yes.
Oh, I see. David and Goliath.
Yes.
I see what you mean. The Latin root of my name, David, means beloved. Did you know that?
Yes.
Beloved, the beloved one.
The beloved.
And there are so many Davids in this world.
Uphill battle.
That's right. I guess yeah. I'm a total underdog.
All right. Would you say you're
Sharpshooter.
fed up about the uphill battle being named David?
My name is. I don't know. I don't think I've thought that before, especially due to my name. No.
So, let's pivot. You work as a teacher at your alma mater.
Yeah. That's right.
That must be absolutely exhilarating. Can you can you elaborate on that?
It is a dream come true to come back home. The chickens come home to roost here.
You spent most of your life here.
Have I? I don't know that I've spent most of my life here. Let's see. 3 years in high school. Well, 4 years in high school. I was kind of a super senior. And then I've gone back to teach for 6 years. Let's say 10. I'm 36 years old.
That's only a couple. You must be 20, 24, right?
I'm 36.
I never would have guessed.
Really?
Not a day over 24. Not a day over 24.
Thank you. Hey, sorry. You're the host. Can I tell you what I am fed up about?
1 sec. You're father to 3 kids.
I am.
Recently 3.
Yes.
A new baby boy.
New baby boy.
What would you say that you're most fed up about? Not about your kids, but about the future of your kids. What do you think you'll be fed up about having to be a father of teenagers?
Okay. So you're asking me, what am I going to be fed up about once they're teenagers?
Yeah.
And you didn't allow me to say what I am actually fed up about currently. But you'd like me to project myself into the future of when my kids will be teenagers and what I'm going to be fed up about.
That's exactly what I'm asking.
I don't know. Their phones.
Thank you. We will now be passing the mic around the table counterclockwise as usual. I mean clockwise. Sorry, Dawes. Clockwise, and everyone at the table will ask a question about Mr. Pilkington and what he's fed up with. Starting on my left and on his right is me. We have none other than Woman Respecter.
Hello, Mr. Pilkington.
Hi, Woman Respecter.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to start out this question by asking, I would like specific people, I'd like specific names. Which students are you fed up with? Fed up.
All right. Have you heard of the Hippocratic oath that doctors take?
Elaborate, please.
Do no harm. You've heard of this, Hayden. Hayden's nodding his head in agreement. I too have taken an oath as a teacher. I'm not at liberty to divulge certain information about students. So I cannot comment on specific students.
Sometimes there's just a student that if you could like citizens arrest them right now, you would.
I've got several in my mind right now, if that's what you're wondering. There's several.
Would that number be 6?
There's one student that refuses to turn off the lights when they leave the podcasting area each day.
Elaborate, please.
Elaborate.
I think I know who it is, mostly because you guys are all pointing at him. But it's a real treat to come in here and make the trek all the way from my desk to the back room, see some weird red lights. I have to walk over to them and turn them off literally twice a day. When the only lecture I think I've had in the TV broadcasting class was, please turn off these lights after you leave.
Wait, I have one final.
I just have to comment on what you just said. Milk and cereal. I rest my case.
I completely agree with that.
All right, okay.
My final question, Mr. Pilkington, is what is your opinion on people drinking swamp water so they can get tapeworms to lose weight?
I'm less against it than you might think.
All right. Thank you.
Now, my question: how do you deal when? How do you deal with having a bad hair day?
Oh man, let me tell you about calyx. Have you ever dealt with calyx? Do you have any calyx in your hair? Oh.
Elaborate, please.
A calyx is where your head has given you a swirly just by being born. And I have several of them. So I have bad hair days all the time, Jimmy. And it's like, you got to take your good hair days with your bad hair days. That's just life.
My name is Davy Jones.
Davy Jones. Davy Jones.
They took away his locker. T-Money. T-Money!
Thank you. Hey! Thank you. T-Money on the air here. Mr. Pilkington, I have to go back a little ways in the broadcast. What were you going to say you were fed up about?
Oh, wow. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you. Why is the Joker rated R? Why'd they have to make?
Strong, bloody violence, disturbing images throughout, strong language, and brief sexual images.
Also, the Joker slaps Batman on the behind, and it alarmed many audience members.
Is that right?
Thank you. I'm fed up with that as well.
Fed up.
Mr. Pilkington, my question for you is, what was your favorite scene from the hit 2006 rom-com She's the Man?
She's the man. I have not seen She's the Man.
I can tell you how I feel. How I feel about that statement. Fed up.
Why is that such a hit amongst youth? That movie. I can name.
It has a bold statement.
It does have. It's a very well written, well acted movie that sells a message. Really, inspires teens.
It's Twelfth Night. It is The 12th Night by Shakespeare turned into a modern comedy that resonates very well with teenage audiences.
And it's funny.
Have you seen 10 Things I Hate About You?
That's a very good movie. I like that movie.
That's with Heath Ledger.
Very good movie.
And that is adapted from a Shakespearean play as well.
That's also good.
So, and I do like that one.
I'll have to see
Mm.
that.
And
I'll see 10 Things I Hate About You.
If I promised, she's the man.
what if we watch both during TV broadcast?
There's definitely not enough time, and that would be the worst.
We would watch them at the same time.
Back to back. A double feature.
Back to back.
Double.
And in conclusion for my remarks, usually this is my honor, usually this is the thing that I do, but since you're the guest today, I would like to invite you to, if you want at some point during the podcast, to burp as loud as you can into the mic. Thank you.
All right. I have a question for Pilkington.
Oh.
As a teacher here,
Yeah.
did you find offense when the students chanted "Build the Wall" in that controversial game? How did you feel as the teacher of that Woods Cross High School?
Oh. Mm.
My face is red.
I was not in attendance at that football game. Was unable. Was unable to witness it firsthand. But there was a lot of fallout from that incident. There's a what?
A game about the Woods Cross fallout.
There's a game about it?
Yeah, the nukes went off because of how crazy it was.
There's a game about Fallout.
It happened in the 50s too.
Oh, there's a game about Fallout. Yeah, that's right. But I don't care to comment about it. Thank you.
Regarding the incident this past Friday night
All
at
right.
our football
Okay.
game.
This was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Thank you.
Is that 2 years ago?
Thank you very much. Okay.
Let's move past it, you guys. Let's try to move past it.
So, we all sit here in attendance. Humbly, I'm all trying. We all sit here because of one father, one son, one teacher, and one college alumni. Alumni.
Alumni. Alumni. Alumni. Alumni.
Go Wolverines!
That's right. You're laughing. Is there something about
Yes.
having an alma mater you that inspires less pride than other schools?
They don't have a football team.
So a football team is what makes you legitimate.
Yes.
Let me tell you what I'm fed up with, Ian.
Fed up! He's getting red. The lights are making. His hand is growing. He's Hellboy. Continue.
What I was saying is, I want to thank you for having me on your podcast. This means a lot to to me, and good luck with your future episodes. There's a lot to be fed up about in this day and age, so I'm sure you'll have a good long run at it. We will. All right. I have time for one more question.
I have to get this together.
I have less than
Gavin.
time for. I have time for less than one more question.
Gavin,
I will see you later.
the mic is yours. Here it is.
Wait, you need answer this one more question. One last question.
Yes.
What color is your front door?
My friend. No, I'm not going to tell you that. Why?
Thank you, Mr. Pilkington.
That was Mr. Pilkington.
Thanks to Mr. Pilkington, the Blevins, for showing up to our podcast today. He's such a sweet pea and such a sweetheart.
Thank you.
If I was a 36-year-old man as well, let's just say, our relationship would be different.
These are the closing remarks for the Fed Up Podcast, Episode 5, Guest, Episode 1, with Mr. Pilkington. I'll be passing the mic clockwise. And my closing remark will be last, as always. Let's start with my right, Mr. Dawson Garner.
My final remarks are: it was a real treat to have Mr. Pilkington, the person who made this podcast possible. So we're real proud of
producer.
Final remarks. I'd like Mr. Pilkington to know that we're very grateful for him being on the show. And there was one thing he forgot. So I guess I'll have to take up his responsibility.
My final remarks today. I'm just honored and humbled to be in this great circle of all you people who are also fed up, and it was nice to hear what Mr. Pilkington had to say, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
It's unfortunate I wasn't able to ask the question if he knew what ligma was. But that's okay. He was a nice guest.
While we never figured out what color Mr. Pilkington's door is, we can always figure out his address, as it is in the school's database. And me, as a professional hacker, I will figure this information out, and we will visit him to film the next episode inside of his garage.
Thank you. I have one last thing to say. Mr. Pilkington, David Pilkington as some called him, a beloved father, a valued member of this community, and a loved son. He stood among us when no one else would. He stood among our ranks and smiled down upon thee. And I find that when it comes to death, there is never any solace There's nothing I could say that could make him come back. But his death is a reminder to us all that we have something to look forward to. When a young 20-something is killed brutally by a gang of people chanting "Fed Up," you must realize that there is more to this world than Nancy Pelosi. There is also Greta Thunberg. Thank you. Thank you for listening to episode 5 of the Fed Up podcast. We had some technical difficulties with episode 4, but that should be out. Thank you for listening to the Fed Up podcast. Good night and good luck.
Amen.
What was the technical difficulties for episode 4?
Didn't record. Just press it a whole bunch of times so we know that we got it. Okay, good.
Skip like one of those.
It's still counting down. I don't think it's stopped.
Hey.